G'day. My name's Graham, and I want to talk about the Easter Island statues and put forward another theory altogether about how they came about, why they came about, and why there are so many of them, if we take into account how long the Easter Island people, the later residents, were there. We know there are harder stones used in earlier statues. We also know there are polygonal walls built on Easter Island, which major mainstream archaeologists do not want to admit, but we know they're there for a fact. So there's a mystery there goes way back when the seas were much lower, 300 feet lower, and there was maybe not necessarily a continent in the Pacific, but much larger islands and less distance to go for people to move around the islands before the last ice age ended, etc., which you will all be familiar with. But I suddenly had this insight after looking at many of the different ideas from different people why these statues came about, that they were simply a fertility ritual. And they were a competition, and it's just an idea, they were a competition between different groups of males, maybe an annual competition, between different groups of males who could chisel out these statues first and move them into sight and put them in place first. May have been sort of an annual ritualistic sporting event, because most people all over the world have some sort of ritualistic means of proving their manhood to the females, and this would have then created a physical challenge to the males, and it's only a suggestion, but this then would account for how many Moai there are, and why they did it. There are other suggestions that were put where the water was and all sorts of things, but if you think about it for 2 minutes, you think, well, all over the world, in ancient cultures, and still now, males compete. And they compete to show which is the best one to breed with to the women. And that's normal. We do it now, people do it now with credit cards and flash cards and whatever it is they do to compete with women now. It's just evolved the way they do it. But in those times, the way a man proved himself was in either killing a lion in Africa, killing a bear, or whatever, taking down a big elk, or taking down a mammoth, whatever it was. But in that case, on Easter Island, where there are no great animals and no other way to prove your skill, there may be other ways of doing it. But it suggests to me that groups competed with each other to cut out these stones and move them into place in what was basically maybe an annual competition. So that sort of simplifies the whole idea of why they came about, and it actually makes more sense. And all respect to everyone else who's involved in this, but it sort of makes more sense than any of it. And it sort of sums up really why there are so many of them, why they did it on such a regular basis. It wasn't so hopefully that someone would return, some earlier godlike figure would return. It was merely the original statues, what they inspired the later people to say, oh well, we better get in and we can do that, and they made it an annual competition. That would account then for the time they were there and the amount of them. Anyway, my name's Graham, and I hope this little bit of insight at least entertains the mind of some, because humans, and males in particular, are all about competing with each other for the ladies. And that's basically all it gets down to, really. On an island like that, well, how do you compete? Either kill each other off, which is doubtful that they would do because it would cause a mass extinction of the whole tribe, or you create a competition like that where you can prove your manhood just by your physical effort. Just like the Olympic Games, really. No doubt the best athletes there get the best women there, and that's how it is. Anyway, just thought I would put that a little bit in, and maybe give an insight to why there's so many statues on Easter Island.